My name is Cindy Thomason, and I'm the founder of Bookskeep and the author of Profit First for E-commerce Sellers. Now, we talked in the last video about the quick start way to get profit first working in your business, to where you're able to understand and run your business and make sure that you've got cash to keep things going and that you're putting profit first in your business. Now, today I want to recap that quickly, but then I want to show you how a more sophisticated system looks as you get a little bit bigger. So let's look at what we talked about before. We talked about before that you probably already have a checking account for your business, and we're going to call that your operating expense checking account. As you have payouts from Amazon, your dollars would go into that. Then you're going to move out of that the dollars that you need to then replenish that inventory that you just sold, that you got paid for. That's going to go into an inventory checking account so that when you have to buy inventory again, you've got that set aside and you'll pay it out of that account. And then what's left, you're going to take 1% of it and you're going to put it in your profit account so that you're starting to accumulate profit. Every quarter, you're going to reward yourself by taking out half of what you put in that quarter. The other half is going to stay in the profit account and is going to start to accumulate so that you've got money for a rainy day fund. All right, that's a recap of what we talked about last time, in addition to the why we do it, because of Parkinson's law. And if you remember, Parkinson's law says we use what we got. And so if all that money's in one bank account, it just gets used up and it's not clear to us that it's designated for a particular purpose, like inventory or profit. So let's expand on that. Let's say you've been doing that a while and you're ready to move into a full profit first implementation. I want to show you what that looks like. First of all, there's going to be some more bank accounts. We're going to assume that you're probably starting to sell in some other channels and that you're ready to have a bank account specifically for income coming in. We're going to manage it the same way as far as every 2 weeks. Amazon's probably still going to be your predominant source of income, but we're going to put those dollars in an income account. And I like to suggest that that's like a serving tray. All the money comes in, it's in our serving tray, and we're going to move it out into 5 other accounts. Now, you've seen all of these before, except for owner pay and taxes. But let's go through how it works. So first of all, you're going to move money down into your inventory account. Then we'll move a percentage into our profit account. Then we've got owner pay, taxes, and then the rest, the final amount, goes into your operating expense account. Now, you'll notice the order of these is really based on taking care of you, the business owner, first. Then we take care of the government and make sure we have money set aside to be able to pay our taxes on April 15th. And then finally, the money that's left is what we use to operate our business. And it's important to realize that this is by design. We want you to have the mindset that this business is here to serve you, that the dollars come out to take care of you and your family first, then the government, and then what's left is there to operate your business. And it puts pressure in the right place by making sure that you are efficient and innovative and frugal with how you operate. Those operating expense dollars are actually what you want to keep control over and keep pressure on. So that's how the flow works. Now, most of the time, my clients want to know, well, how do I know what percentage? And basically, we have to run some numbers to know that. And to do that, we use a profit assessment. Now, I want to talk to you about how some of the terminology works in a profit assessment. The thing that can be confusing to people is we use 2 terms for revenue. The first term is top line revenue. This is what you're used to seeing. This is your sales dollars that show up on your Seller Central. If you're also operating something like Shopify, you can log in and see what your total sales are. That's top line revenue. Then we take out whatever the fees are from Amazon, Shopify, whatever other platforms you may have, and we take out the inventory. And what's left from that we call real revenue. Now, the reason we make that distinction is because real revenue is what you have to run your business with and to pay yourself and to pay taxes with. And this is true across any industry. So no matter what industry you're in, whether you may have an e-commerce business and you may also have a consulting business, all businesses have a real revenue amount or a bucket that we then take those dollars and allocate them. And so I want you to understand when I say real revenue, I'm talking about after Amazon's taken their fees and after you've set aside dollars for inventory. And so to be able to analyze businesses across multiple different businesses, we wanted to have it consistent so that all of that pass-through dollars, no matter whether you're a dentist or an e-commerce seller or a house builder, all those pass-through dollars are taken out, and then you're left with the real revenue dollars. And no matter what business you're in, that will be allocated in the same way. Now, what are good numbers is the question I get. And this chart shows you what good numbers are. So if we look at this first tier here, up to $250,000 in real revenue should be allocated with 5% going to profit, 50% going to pay the owner, who is typically heavily involved in the business at this size, 15% going to the government, and the business should be able to run on 30%. So that's a benchmark for where you want to get to. Now, these numbers change as the business gets bigger. For example, if your real revenue is in the range between 500 and a million, then your profit is going to be higher. Your owner pay is going to be less because you're working less in doing work in the business. And then the taxes typically work out to be about 15%, no matter the size of the business. And then OPEX gets to be a little bigger. You're having to pay other employees, so your OPEX goes up. So that's how this chart works. As you can see, as your real revenue gets higher, then OPEX gets bigger, and the profit percentages get bigger, and the owner pay goes down. So that's just the nature of the businesses growing. So let's look at an example. In this example, the top line revenue of the sales dollars was just over 4 million, but the COGS and the inventory is over 3 million. So that left this business with real revenue in the 841,000 range, which is that third tier in the slide just before this. So this tier here tells us what our objective would be. We would like to have profit in the 15% range. We'd like to have owner pay about 20%. We'd like to be putting 15% away for taxes and have the business run on 50% of what's left. This is a typical example, though, of how when you do the math on this particular business, the owner was only putting away 5% for profit. They were taking a little bit more in owner pay, so that's good. They weren't putting anything aside for taxes, and their OPEX was about 17% more than what it should have been. So you can see that if they would get their OPEX under control, they'd be able to have the money that they're going to need in April for their taxes, and they would be able to shift this owner pay and profit to where they're getting a little bit more of that as well. So this is an example of how this works, and once you plug your numbers in, you can start to see, based on your real revenue numbers, how you can actually build your business to stronger in the areas where you're weak. Now, the reason this comes up a lot for our clients is we hear them say, I want to I want to quit my day job. And when will I be big enough that I can take a paycheck equivalent to what my day job is paying me? So, based on this framework that we know works for successful businesses, we were able to reverse engineer and come up with a way to back into when you'll be able to quit your day job. So, the owner pay calculator is what we use for that. And I'm going to show you the 3 pieces of information that you need to be able to understand how much money you need to have in top line sales, assuming these other components, to be able to then pay yourself. So this is our owner pay calculator. As I said, we've reverse engineered it from the other chart that I showed you. And this is the same chart that we were just looking at. And I'm going to assume that somebody starting out is probably going to be in this first tier. And most people have a number in mind for their desired personal income, and they also know about how profitable their business is. We encourage our business owners to be at least 30% profitability, or you really don't have enough money to pay for everything else. But these 3 orange boxes here are what you need to be able to fill out. So first of all, calculate where you are in the real revenue range, then figure out how much you need to make your family household work. What's your target income? What are you getting paid now? And then what's your business gross margin? When you have those 3 pieces, then the calculator will tell you how much you have to sell to reach that. So here I've entered this information as an example. The current paycheck for this person is $50,000 a year. They are just starting to sell, so they're in this first tier, category A. They are achieving 30% gross margin. So the math for that works out that they have to have a top line revenue of $333,000 for the year, because $233,000 is going to go to pay for their inventory, and then that's going to leave them with $100,000 in real revenue. Now, once you've got that $100,000, what are you going to do with it? You're going to put it in the buckets based on these percentages. So each month or every 2 weeks, when you get your pay from your settlement, then 5% needs to go to profit. The 50% is going to get you to the $50,000 paycheck that you wanted. You're going to be putting aside about $15,000 this year for taxes, and that means you've got to operate your business on $30,000. So you need to look at what all you're paying for. If you've got rent, if you've got insurance, if you've got courses, whatever it is, you need to look at it and be sure you're going to be able to operate for $30,000. Because if you short any of this, then you're not going to be able first to pay yourself that salary that you're used to, and you're not going to be prepared to make the tax payments that you're going to be expected to make. So that's how this owner pay calculator works. So we're going to have the calculator, it's an Excel spreadsheet available for you, along with the profit assessment tool, so that you can go in and do a profit assessment on your existing numbers and ensure you understand which tier you're in. And then once you know that and understand your gross margin and what your needs are for your family, it may be your current paycheck, or maybe there's some adjustments you can make and you're going to be able to get by with a little less. Whatever you calculate there, once you plug those 3 numbers in, then you're able to understand, all right, this is where my business needs to be performing for me to be able to feel confident in taking this big step of leaving my day job. Okay, I think that's it. Again, you know me, I would love to chat if you've got any questions, and I really appreciate you hanging with me, and I hope that you take your profits first, because I know it will help you set your business up to be successful.